Ashleigh, what do we know about the brother-in-law and or Annie Guthrie and the dynamic between Savannah and Annie?
So I can't tell you that. And I'm a friend of Savannah's. When I
Hmm.
say a friend, we worked together at Court TV for a long time. We were pals. We've always texted. We've done charity work together. I don't see her all the time. We're in different phases of our lives. We live in different cities. But I can tell you she's just one of the kindest, nicest, most honorable and honest, loving people of all time. And not a lot of people like Savannah, but she's the real deal. I have no idea what her relationship is like with her sister. There are Christmas photos showing them all together wearing matching Christmas jammies. So there's got to be some kind of good nature between this family with their mom. As far as Tommaso Cioni, I know this. And it's literally from what I could find, just sleuthing out things on
Hmm.
various websites. He's 50 years old. He lives in Tucson. He's married to Annie Guthrie. He's got a or Annie has a metal smithing shop. Uh, his bio, strangely, is on a strange website. It's Taparulan Cultural Association, which is a nonprofit that's based in Cremona, Italy. It's focused on promoting contemporary artists. It's been around since 2004. And this is the quote of his bio on that website. I was born in San Giovanni Valdarno on June 18th, 1975. Since 2006, I have lived in Tucson, Arizona. I write when I have the chance. I study lizards. I play the electric bass. I make homemade pasta. End quote. That's the bio on that Italian website. But LinkedIn says he is a teacher at Basis Oro Valley School from 2007 till present, that he is a primary instructor for sixth grade science and AP biology. And then there's Reverb Nation. That's a music website that reports he put out an album with a three-man music group called Early Black. That's the name of the music group, Early Black. And there's some photos
Interesting.
that show him with a trio of guys. I don't know if it's the band or not, but it's sort of like a band, black and white photo, three guys. I just know I've seen that photo, but I haven't seen it associated with a label or anything. But he's got a three-man music group and he plays the electric bass.
This is so fascinating, Ashleigh, because I was doing a little research on Annie earlier today, and she too seems to be a frustrated artist. She published a 68-page book of poetry, which is apparently told from the point of view of a mentally ill woman. That's the reporting I've read. I haven't read the book yet. And if she's a frustrated writer and her husband is a frustrated musician, and they've got a prominent member of the family who is incredibly successful, has fame and fortune, I don't want to get ahead of ourselves, but if this
Yeah.
turns out to be a sort of Nick Reiner adjacent kind of crime, it seems now that the ransom note law enforcement is saying is something that they are taking extremely seriously. And the ransom note, the latest reporting, is that it demands millions in Bitcoin, contains specific examples about the crime scene, including the specific damage to the home and what Nancy was wearing that night. The author or authors have said Thursday is the deadline for the money to be deposited, excuse me. And if they don't get it by Monday, they will kill her.
Hmm. Well, I got a couple thoughts about that, and they're
Hmm.
just my own. They're not based on reporting. There are a lot of parasites that come out of the woodwork with Bitcoin who can't be traced. Some of them are
Hmm.
very good at hiding their IP addresses. Who knows if this is one of them? Who knows if it's a deflection of the real person who took her? Um, I do know that the FBI is very good at this. And generally
Hmm.
speaking, the public thinks they're smarter than they are. Koberger was a PhD student and he screwed up royally. So
Hmm.
the average Joe out there probably doesn't understand the technical abilities of the FBI these days and what they can track. I just hope that this is some outside parasite who's just trying to get in on the action, that they're prosecuted to the full extent of the law, because it's just sick to do this kind of thing. And if it is someone who's associated with the crime, who's trying to make money off this, even worse.
What seems to give it credence to me, Ashleigh, is that they're not saying that the details contained within the note, which are about the damage to the home and what Nancy was wearing, are incorrect.
Right. Well, the police didn't even know what she was wearing. The cameras were smashed. They didn't see her being taken out of the home. They are surmising that she was taken out of the home. By the way, my source also said that the police wouldn't clarify a timeline to us, the press, but but they 100% have locked in on 2 a.m. at the time her pacemaker separated from her devices left behind in the home.
I wanted to ask you your thoughts about the vague timeline that still exists for the arrival of, it sounds like Annie and her husband, but we're unclear, I believe, to Nancy's home after the call came that she hadn't attended church that morning as she does every Sunday, and the time at which they called 911. And it seems as though, from my reading, that an hour had elapsed, that they arrived Sunday, or they were informed Sunday at 11 a.m., and that the call to the police was at least 60 minutes later.
So I'll give the benefit of the doubt here, and I will imagine the church friend calls, they go over to the house. Maybe they went in the back door, not the front door where the blood was, and they see that the back door is open and they think that's odd. And maybe they saw blood inside the house and thought, oh God, and wondered if she had been injured and was trying to get to her car and might have fallen somewhere or was somewhere outside. And so took some time to look around, not only all throughout the house, but also all around the house. Maybe even running down the streets, calling her name. So, an hour, it's a fair amount of time for someone who can't walk more than 50 yards on her own.
Yeah.
But if you want to be thorough and you want to be careful and you don't want to, alert the police to come out to this rural area, you want to get your ducks in a row because you have an ailing mom, right? You know that she might have fallen, maybe died at 84. So you're trying to look for her, dial her phone. You're trying everything you can. I don't know. I mean, I can't weigh in any further than that. It could be either of those things. You're either buying time or you're literally trying to find what the hell happened to my mom. Check every box, look everywhere, walk everywhere, run everywhere, dial the phone a million times, go upstairs, go downstairs, go to the attic, go to the basement, go into the nooks and crannies. Sometimes she crawls into the cupboard back in the back to put the shoes away, whatever it is. I think you're looking everywhere at that point for her. It could be either.
I think that's a generous assessment, I believe, and what strikes me really as highly suspicious about it, there are a couple of things. One, again, the cops are being very vague on the actual timeline and the moment to moment of whoever was in that house doing that welfare check was doing. If I have a mother who does not have dementia and cannot walk any further than 50 yards on her own without assistance, and I get to that house and I see the back door is flung open, I don't know why I would be going in the back door instead of the front door. I would be flying to her bedroom. And if I would imagine that crime scene, that bedroom was I'm going to guess it was a violent scene because
we don't know.
We don't know, but as Sheriff Nano said,
epicenter.
It's not at the center.
Yeah. We don't know that the bedroom is an epicenter. The sheriff, something about being dragged from her bed, and then the next day had to put out a statement saying, I didn't think you take me literally. That's not what I meant that she was dragged.
I took him literally.
Well, a lot of us did. Oh my God, she was dragged from her bed. And I thought, well, why didn't I get that? But no, he walked that back. He said, I did not mean that to sound literal, being dragged from her bed. So it could be. I don't know.
Okay. So now, Ashleigh, now that this opens another aperture, another theory of the case, that Nancy never went to bed that night. That there was some kind of, if the sister and the brother-in-law, if Annie Guthrie and Tommaso took her home and they got into some kind of argument and somebody lost their temper, and perhaps it was an accident or perhaps it was not. And things got out of control, and you wind up with this sort of Fargo-esque scenario in which they panicked and moved the body themselves under cover of night in this very remote area.
I don't want to go that far. There's so many possibilities. I keep thinking about someone coming to the house late. There's blood at the front door, and I'm wondering if somebody rang the doorbell many, many times to get her out of bed, because it's hard to bring somebody down the stairs that doesn't have a lot of mobility. And out she came to the front and was hit, hence the blood spatter at the front door, but not down the pathway. And maybe the struggle or the energy moved inside the home, which is now why there's blood inside the home. And the egress was out the back door, where maybe it's a little easier to have a car or some way to get her out of the house without potential cars going by, seeing a vehicle there. I don't know. There's a lot of different possibilities here.
Interesting. I just automatically assumed, given her limited mobility, that her bedroom would have been on the first floor. I don't know why I think that.
You're absolutely right. It could have been. I don't know where her bedroom is either. But I'm just thinking that why is there blood at the front door? Was that
Do
because
we know what that blood spatter is composed of? I've read various, again, it's just online, that they've identified it as a kind of expectorate, like it has a mucus component to it that she would have expelled it through her mouth or nose.
I don't have that. I just know that when the DNA was tested, and I'm assuming blood, because if you see blood at a crime scene, you're testing it, it came back as hers and not a suspect's.
Interesting. Thank you, Ashleigh, for joining The Nerve. And
It's a real
you
mystery.
have advanced this story more than any other journalist thus far.
Brian Enton.
Brian
did.
Enton,
I mean,
yes.
finding that blood at the front door is so massive because it's just perplexing. If you're bleeding like that, Maureen, you're going to keep bleeding if you're being pulled down the gravel stones, and there will be evidence of that. The blood stayed right there at the front door on those tiles, and Brian said there was no evidence that blood went out to the driveway. And again, I say driveway because the woman probably would have had to be taken away in a car, given that she couldn't walk more than 50 yards.
Yes. And so one of my thoughts about that is whoever did this was in a panic and tried to initially take her out through the front door and then thought better of it. Oh, there's Nest cameras. Oh, there might be landscaping lighting around. Oh, we might be surveilled here. Took her back through the house, through the back door, and drove the car and did it in the back of the house.
And I don't know that you can get a car to the back of the house. This is me just trying to figure out why is the back door wide open and there's blood at the front door. That was something for me that I was trying to think through in a scenario where she's taken from her home. Kidnapped is the word that the sheriff used with me. Kidnapped. How are both of those entrances to the home used in this crime? And now, listen, there's a lot of possible scenarios.
In the world of e-commerce, order fulfillment can make or break your business. That's why ShipStation's all-in-one platform is helping over 1 million businesses maximize their efficiency. The platform bridges order management, inventory tracking, returns, warehouse integration, and powerful analytics. It compares rates across USPS, UPS, and FedEx to unlock discounts of up to 90% off. It allows you to keep pre-negotiated carrier rates as well. ShipStation automations like bulk label printing and sending tracking updates save users an average of 15 hours per week and cuts customer service inquiries by 12%. Built-in returns insights reveal exactly what products are coming back and why, while detailed analytics spotlight where you're saving money and where to optimize further. Connect to over 200 sales channels in one place. No more juggling 5 to 7 disconnected tools. Set it up once and let automations handle the rest. Try ShipStation free for 60 days with full access to all features, no credit card needed. Go to ShipStation.com and use code Maureen for 60 days for free. 60 free days gives you plenty of time to see exactly how much time and money you're saving on every shipment. That's ShipStation.com, code Maureen. ShipStation.com, code Maureen.